back.
It's already time for us to be at the docks. Let's go! The arrival schedule says ship stopover, one person. Does that mean we're only welcoming one guest today?
Final character. Where I gotta go to? I gotta go somewhere, guys. I'm not really happy.
Look! That figure on the wharf! It looks like Kazuha!
I don't have Kazuha.
And Paimon? I was a little surprised.
Kazuha.
Ah, yes. Now, I suddenly heard light footsteps around me. I could tell they were not footsteps of a regular passenger. But by the time I turned around, the person had even though I didn't manage to catch a glimpse of them, I found this strange piece of paper by my...
Oh, does the paper happen to have a poem written?
Huh. How did...
Oh, who's the dude that's been writing this stuff? Come on.
Fascinating. It's almost hard to believe such things could happen. Sure, here it is.
Last time, Aoi story this time basically says that Akihito got his name from his love of red seals. However, the Shogun discovered... Well, if Paimon were it sounds pretty unfortunate.
I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with this story. I too was once wanted as a criminal by the shogunate. So I'm not all that different from Akihito.
But according to the story, Akihito was exiled... Huh? Traveler, what are you thinking about?
Ah, by the way, you mentioned in Liyue and Inazuma, there is a saying, that which has been stamped has also been signed. While sailing at sea, I sometimes carve things to pass the time. If you wish to create a stamp for his seal, I might be able to help.
Wow, that's an idea!
Yeah, I was actually thinking that. I was like, why doesn't he just like stamp them all? And then I guess it would look wrong. I don't know why Venti can do that, but other characters' height can't. Like, see, I can't do it with Ganyu. There's no lunge.
Albedo, we figured out a way to help...
Interesting. A story of the stamped seal, huh? Indeed, it is an efficient solution. If we use a stamp, then Xingqiu won't have to struggle with his handwriting anymore. However, since Xingqiu's signature has been previously revealed to the readers, it would seem insincere if he only used the stamped seal for his new books. But I have another idea. Using a seal...
I like how his little plushies of... Oh my god, I just realized how fucked up. That plushies of Raiden.
Wouldn't gliding be faster?
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, that's it, Jinyu. Your writing is greatly improved today, which means yesterday's intensive training was...
My apologies, but I simply can't do it anymore. My hands are so sore that I can't even move them anymore.
You just had a 10-minute break.
When it comes to pushing a deadline, there's no one more brutal than Mr. Hirayama.
No wonder Lady Yai would always send the editorial director to handle troublesome off.
This is getting scary. It hasn't even been that long, and Shincho's already Zappa.
Mr. Hirayama, in both Liyue and Inazuma, seals are widely used as the equivalents of a signature. If we use a stamp to leave the author's seal on the books, then we could make the signature. Of course, a seal on its own is not enough. First, we'll use a personalized seal. We can simply carve one using Chenyu's signature as the design. In addition, I'll also design a simple but elegant pattern that's easy for Chenyu to write. That way, he will only need to draw a simple pattern on each book.
All right, I think that would work. Not only does it still involve the author's own head...
So, what you mean to say is, I've been saved from this predicament?
Mr. Hirayama, it suddenly occurred to me that the reason we gave up on live book signings previously was because it would take too long for the author to sign each. But if we adopted Calx's proposed method, we might have. And if all the authors signed their books in the same fashion, then Genyu's signature wouldn't look.
If you think it's feasible, I would certainly be happy to
Yes, and you may leave carving the stamps
When
to
the
me.
hell did he come?
In that case, I shall
Wait, was he
contact the
there
other
the
two
entire
authors
time?
participating in the new release event.
He was in.
It is a great honor to use a signature design.
My pen name is quite complicated and isn't suitable for signing events. However, if we implement...
Great! Looks like everyone's...
I'm sorry to have kept you busy for so long, Jinyu. Please, the books that Jinyu...
We did it.
Thanks to everyone's efforts. Oh,
Ah, yes. Easy efforts. I haven't finished my resin. And I haven't finished my... I finished my commissions. Guys, I have to stay up somewhat. You know, I'm gonna ditch the crown.
Traveler, there you
Ayaka.
are.
Venti's just chilling over there or what?
It's Ayaka! And Venti! That's an interesting combo.
It is actually.
I was just going to the festival venue to prepare the Ikebana lesson. This bard just happened to be close by at the time. He informed me that you've also found similar paper.
But the paper she found isn't quite the same as the ones we found before.
Here's the paper.
Huh. All the poems we found before were roughly the...
And even though there are only 2 short sentences, neither of them are next to the title or centered on... The position of the writing seems to indicate that there is other content written on this paper besides...
If we take the poem literally, it reads, "Dip this paper in water and see the truth." Speaking of which, I have an ancient text at home, specializing in ancient and exotic stories.
So, shall we give it a whirl? It just so happens that there's a pond nearby.
Nice. You telling me Jinchu couldn't have water?
Wow, look! It's really working! More... Let Paimon see what it... Story says that the plagiarized words in the poem became blip.
You see, Paimon, in the past, when printing was not yet well developed, handwritten text could easily become smudged in books when exposed to moisture. To ensure the text lasted longer, They'd either write using a special ink or coat the paper's surface with a waterproof coating once the writing was finished. Such special inks are time-consuming and laborious to produce, and the waterproof coating could also prove just as difficult. However, since Akihito's poetry collection was an important gift to be presented to the shogun, but as for the plagiarized poems, not only would they lack Akihito's seal, but the words would also react differently when exposed to...
Which means Akihito...
Yes, it appears that this is the truth that Sumizome's story is trying to convey. Although the story is saddening, I've decided on the subjects to use for Akihito and Sumizome's portraits. Kazuha, Ayaka.
I would be delighted.
Yes.
There you go. The next two...
Yes. And now that
There's one more though.
Long ago, Inazuma had 5 legendary poets. People bestowed upon them the title of the 5 Kasen.
One year, the poet Suiko made his way to Tenshukaku and presented the Kasen's work for the shogun's perusal. But a page from the work had been torn out, and Suiko was questioned regarding the matter. Suiko pleaded guilty. He admitted to drinking at the tavern the night before, and vaguely recalled a mysterious figure approaching while he was intoxicated.
That figure was none other than Aoi no Okina himself. This turn of events had begun with an unnamed individual, under whose coercion, Aoi no Okina was forced to take drastic measures to retrieve a page of poetry. He knew nothing of this individual's true intentions. All he knew was that the poem had to do with an old acquaintance, Akihito.
Akihito had once belonged to the 5 Kasen. Each poem he composed, he marked with a scarlet red seal, hence the Aka in his name. Such a distinguished writer was he, and yet one of the poems he had submitted the previous year was found to be plagiarized. Akihito was exiled for his crimes, and only 4 of the 5 Kasen remained.
Sumizome went over Akihito's poems and noticed that the plagiarized poem lacked his seal. She immersed his poetry in a stream nearby, and only on the plagiarized poem did the ink run. Aoi no Okina passed by and witnessed Sumizome's doing, which he then recorded in a poem. Thus transpired the events of Suiko's poetry submission, where the story comes to an end.
That's beautiful, interesting, and I still don't get it. That's... oh, I love those moments, those animations they do. It's so cool.
Yeah. Ever since we completed the story, one of the 5 Kasen is called Kuranushi, right? It's just that... how could the story of the 5 Kasen finish without him appearing at all?
Oh! Have you really not noticed?
Huh?
what he means is that the story of Kuranushi was already embedded within the 4 poems.
Huh?
That's right. The key lies in the poem that Aoi no Okina wrote after seeing Sumizome rinsing the poetry collection. An average person could never understand the scene of a young girl washing Akihito's poetry collection in a stream. Even Aoi no Okina couldn't figure out the meaning behind Sumizome's actions. He was simply reminiscing and thinking about his old acquaintances. However, for the perpetrator who framed he was worried that if this poem was seen by the Shogun, then the Shogun could discover the truth behind the plagiarism incident. So in desperation, he threatened Aoi no Okina to make him tear out this poem.
Which means the one who threatened Aoi no Okina is the same person that framed Akihito. What? Kuranushi?
That's right. Though there are only 4 poems, they still managed to tell, since the shogun mentioned in the poems is certainly not the one of the 5 kasen.
Oh, okay.
However, the story of the 5 kasen has more or less reflected, which begs the question, is there a Kuronushi in our world as well?
I really want to say it. I really want to say it. A manga. Nice kid.
Kuronushi? In our world?
It's Jamiko, bro.
Speaking of which, I wonder if our dear Kazuha has come up with anything.
Oh, right! Kazuha!
Bro, the Kuronushi is us, let's be honest.
Hey, Kazuha! Are you okay? You've been...
Apologies for making a wild assumption, but...
Yes. A few things did come to mind. I don't mind sharing the stories.
Hey! We're all friends here,
Kaidehara, please forgive my assumption, but perhaps you were thinking of the Raiden Gokuden?
The Raiden Gokuden?
It appears that Miss Kamisato and I were thinking of the same thing, but it also has much to do with the Yashiro Commission.
It's fine. Those of us here are all trustworthy. However, this matter is somewhat complicated and... As you all know, the Yashiro Commission's the Raiden Gokuden were once the top 5 schools of the forging art in Inazuma. Although these craft, they also held many important Unfortunately, of the 5, only the Aminoma art still maintains its artisan lineage. The descendants of the Ishin art are also still alive, but the descendants of the Ishin art are none.
Whoa! We knew Kazuha came from a noble family, but we had no idea.
Yes, but that's all part of the past now. The My grandfather was dissatisfied with my great-grandfather's lack of effort. When he was young, and in my generation,
I heard my elder brother mention that the decline of the Raiden Gokuden happened very rapidly. Later, there was speculation that However, since not every family of the Raiden Gokuden came to...
Indeed. However, not only did it affect the Kaedehara clan, but after reading the story of the 5 kasen, I can't help...
What exactly happened?
I still can't say. I will tell you everything
I don't like hearing government stories, especially in this game. I think, like, when they imply politics, I think it's boring. Oh my gosh. Oh, we probably just shouldn't do it. So that moon counts as midnight. I feel dumb. Juventus? Did you see that guy?
Ah, you're here. It appears everyone has arrived. Last night, I visited a former servant who once worked for my family. I was able to... In my great-grandfather's generation, the Ishin art was though all the craftsmen involved were very experienced. The process was still unsuccessful. Every blade that was... When the deadline came, the blade still wasn't finished. So the Kaedehara clan and Yashiro Commission then conducted an investigation. However, they met fierce resistance from the craftsmen, and in the Kaedehara clan was severely punished for the swordsmiths that had escaped, and moreover, I heard that the head of the Kamisato clan was injured by the fleeing swordsmiths, which...
Yes. The sudden passing of the family head left the Kamis... This single incident had profound effects. Even after the position as head of the clan was passed to my... But, thanks to my brother,
the failure to forge the... However, the story of the 5 kasen seems to imply that the failure didn't stem from a lack of skill. Miss Kamisato, I heard yesterday that the Yashiro Commission had... Might I ask you...
Yes, I understand. I will go back and search...
Interesting. So we're gonna fix something else. Oh, estate. That's up the mountain. fun. Up the mountain, down the mountain, it's around the mountain. Ooh, we're going inside. Oh, Legend of the Sword. Ooh, getting your book stolen. LOL.
Everyone, I've managed to find the old diagram.
Though the diagram is well preserved, you can still tell that it's seen at least 3 or 4 centuries of history.
Whoa, that's pretty old. Is it still possible to find any evidence of tampering?
At this point, we can only try our luck and see how we fare.
Although the effect is not too obvious, you can still see that some words have now started to Kazuha. This is clear evidence that this chart was indeed tampered with.
I see. But I fear that I've discovered this secret too late. When my grandfather was young, he proposed reviving the Ishin art many times to my... Yesterday, the former family servant said that my great-grandfather even went to that diagram from the head of the Kamisato clan. Sure enough, my grandfather also failed. My great-grandfather then my grandfather left Inazuma in a rage after hearing those words. Looking back at it now...
Oh,
I heard that your great-grandfather was very industrious when he was young. But later in life, he
Kazuha.
Yes. The servant said that he personally heard those words. And my grandfather was so angry at the time that he smashed my great-grandfather's cherished bonsai tree.
Yes, it appears that you understand. Kazuha, if your great-grandfather thought that the Ishin art lacked finesse, then after witnessing his son's failure, wouldn't he have said something more along the lines of, your skills aren't sufficient? But instead he said, if you can't find the secret with...
Huh? So you're saying my great-grandfather may have...
Yes. The current evidence suggests that is highly likely.
I apologize, but after I became a wanted criminal, the Tenryou Commission seized my family's last... I want to inquire about the whereabouts of those belongings.
all right, let's get...
Crazy. Can we teleport? Please teleport. Yes, we can teleport. Alright, we here. Music. What's up, Kujo Osara?
What are you all doing here? Did something happen on Rito?
Kujo Sara.
Yes, I do. You're Kaedehara Kazuha, a one-
Sarah, we'd like to ask about the Kaidahara clan's property that was seized by the Tenryou Commission.
Yes, the items seized at that time are currently stored in the warehouse next to the police station. Since Kaedehara has come back to Inazuma...
No, I'm afraid you misunderstand. I'm not...
I see. Alright, I'll...
Thank you, Sarah.
That's all in the past now, Kujo Sara. There's no need to mention it again. I know you...
I still haven't finished the quest. I don't understand, but I'll
However,
listen.
may I ask?
Yes?
Currently, I have no plans to stay in Inazuma. As a result, those items from my family's estate are of no use to me, Madam Kujo. I believe you are a person of integrity. After our investigation is over, I'd like to ask if you can
All right. I understand.
Nice. That's nice. Nice.
This is the headquarters of the Tentative Commission.
Ah, you must be here to investigate the Kaedehara clan's belongings. Well, Madame Kujo's already informed.
I don't like his voice. Madam Kujo has already informed me. You may please come in.
Ah, the Kaedehara clan's belongings are stored in this warehouse. Unfortunately, however, I have clearly marked the corresponding items, so I'll be waiting for you at the door. Please, come see me.
Kazuha, since the items are scattered throughout...
Yes, sounds...
No, that's a pain in the ass. Asakawa.
Oh, it's you.
Oh.
I'm afraid not. Although the sword rack is made of fine wood, the swords placed here appear to be quite ordinary. Due to the dire the blade on the sword hasn't been sharpened, but there are many signs of use on the hilt.
Let Paimon see! Oh, there seems to be a couple uneven characters etched into the scabbard. Kazuha. Paimon can imagine what Kazuha was like as a kid.
I will continue investigating here and call you...
I like how she said that.
Oh, it's you.
Whoa, this folding screen looks
Yes. Perhaps if it were better. I was taking a closer look just now. The soil is deeply embedded into the cloth. That means a great deal of force was used when the dirt was lodged into the cloth. Because this is not what we... Let me think. If I want...
Albedo seems to be thinking...
Because Albedo's a genius. I'll talk to Shinky first.
What did you find, Shincho?
I found quite the pile of... These books here are all related to smelting steel. And the...
The books about
I skimmed through them just...
There must be some. Do you see all these pots here? Some of them are bound to have liquor inside,
Oh my
right?
god.
Hey! Everyone else is trying.
I merely checked.
Well, Paimon doesn't really get why Kazuha told Sarah to sell... What if we don't end up finding anything today? Then wouldn't Kazuha lose the chance of finding out what really happened all those years ago?
I know you are worried about Kazuha. Since Kazuha made such a request to Sarah, that indicates he's already made his choice. No, leave the things here.
Everyone, I've found something that you should all have a look at.
The tree.
This flower pot was in my house for a long time. I heard that it was left...
Yeah, the plant seemed to have...
Well, after my great-grand... But he specifically left behind this dead plant at the time. And even instructed my grandfather not to... My grandfather deeply regretted that he never managed to reconcile with my great... But now that I think about it... Yes.
I don't like those eyes you
Finally
had.
found something! Already discovered the compartment and...
No, I do not think that is the case here.
You mean to say that these sheets have...
Yes, I agree.
Okay, let's...
There is a pond outside the police station.
Let's give it a dunk. Let's go.
Just as everyone guessed, after I sprinkled some water onto the paper, writing did indeed begin.
Oh? What does the letter say?
It is. Everyone?
I'm not gonna like do it, dog. Bro, the seaside? 500 meters? Bruv. Bruv, look how far that is. Okay, there's no lunch. She doesn't have lunch.
Time to act.
Why does Venti have lunch?
Wouldn't gliding be faster?
Oh no, it just makes it look like he has lunch. Alright.
Kaedehara, why did you lead us to this beach?
It is. In fact, our hypothesis was correct. My great-grandfather reads this letter. All those years ago, when I was pursuing the swordsmiths alongside Commissioner Kamisato of the Yashiro Commission, I was not injured by one of the fleeing smiths.
It was night, and after the clues led us down to shore, I waited for the culprits to show themselves. However, there were no swordsmiths in sight, only a single eccentric stranger. This stranger claimed to be the one behind the failed forgings, and said that he had been patiently waiting for us. He then threatened to destroy the Raiden Gokaden. That person was of able body, and in a blink of an eye, myself and the accompanying samurai had been defeated. Commissioner Kamisato was severely wounded, and I barely escaped death myself. My hat had the unusual stranger could have easily claimed my life at that moment. But, after noticing my appearance, he stopped his attacks and sternly asked if I had any connection with the name Niwa. I answered that it was my father's surname, and after my father disappeared, upon hearing my answer, the stranger paused. After a long silence, he suddenly said, "Tell her this. My name is Kuni Kuzushi." He then turned and left.
Wow.
Yes. My great-grandfather and the head of the Kamisato clan escaped from death and learned that the forging diagram had been tampered with by However, due to the encounter, the head of the Kamisato clan was worried that my great-grandfather would be falsely accused of being because the perpetrator said he would destroy the Raiden Gokaden. My great-grandfather worried that the perpetrator would still return for vengeance. He said, "As the leader of the Kaedehara clan, I am deeply ashamed to witness the decline of the Ishin art." Yes, that's right. If my grandpa... Unfortunately, Miss Kamisato, it appears you were unaware of the happenings that my great-grandfather described.
I suppose the reason the head of the Kamisato... If the perpetrator was capable of tampering with even the Shogun's diagrams, and could single-handedly defeat many men, I will discuss this matter with Brother shortly, and investigate the identity behind the one called Kuni Kuzushi.
To be honest, as I read the letter, I felt much... My great-grandfather said in the letter that he did not wish his though he was in a tight situation when he wrote these words. I think what's most important for each person is not the past, but the present. Therefore, knowing the truth behind what happened, that being said, if the enemy from all those years ago is still lurking and plotting to stir up more trouble, then I definitely won't turn a blind eye. These are simply insights I've gathered from all that I've... Thank you all for accompanying...
Great! Now that we're done here, let's head...
That's pretty crazy. That's interesting, honestly. So that guy's old.
Today is the final stage of the Irodori Festival. Not only will there be Shincho's signing event, but Albedo's painting of Kuranushi will also be unveiled.
Festivals always attract so many people.
Hello, traveler.
Albedo, why is the portrait of Kuranushi all covered up? Paimon wants to see what your
Don't worry. The unveiling ceremony. I will say that I'm most satisfied with this particular work. I even made a special trip to see someone in order to. His...
Oh my god, bro, really? Friends on site? Venti, Yamiko.
Well, hello.
Hey! What are you two doing together?
Is that so?
We were merely discussing wine and food. I'm sure you two wouldn't be interested.
No, I think Paimon would be interested in the food part.
Sake.
Forget it. Even if...
Sit right here and try my Inazuman snacks.
That's actually pretty funny, since they get along pretty well. Machine Q?
Traveler, Paimon, it's a pleasure. Indeed it did. Thanks to you, this...
Shincho.
You aren't mistaken. Though I'm ashamed to admit it. But after all, I came to Inazuma under the pretext of evaluating a potential invest. Fortunately, the crowds of readers that came flocking over have kept the usual tourists at bay. Oh, I should mention, Shu is also unaware of the real purpose of my trip. If you happen to meet him, then please accept my thanks in advance. I'll see you later at...
How boring. Oh, it's the brother and sister.
Ah.
Oh, Ayato! We finally...
Yes. Fortunately, the Irodori festival is proceeding smoothly.
Brother and I are
Toma sure is taking his sweet time.
Yes. Today is one of the rare occasions when Brother isn't busy. I was going to buy some books, but he said he wanted to come along.
Paimon didn't think Ayato could...
Brother always worked, so Toma and I really cherish...
That's how I like that. That's funny.
Kazuha, what are you doing?
I came here to take in the sea breeze. Such a bustling Thank you. Look. But now, not only are foreigners coming to Inazuma again.
Yeah, Inazuma has already started to change, huh?
I was thinking it might take a different amount of time for different people. And when they finally...
Nice.
It's time for the portrait's unveiling ceremony. Let's head over to the 5 Kasen Plaza.
Alright. Oh, we here.
Everyone, welcome to the magnificent Today, we have ushered in and now we will reveal the final portrait of the 5
Paimon has no idea what else...
Let's all count down together.
It's Paimon.
3, 2, 1. Huh? What's this? I suppose Calx must have forgotten to include the character. Let's hear...
Hello, everyone. First, I would like to say that it was an honor to be invited. The 5 Kasen are legendary figures from ancient Inazuma, famous for their works of poetry. As I learned from existing sources about those stories that the character of Kuro differing of the five Kasen. Moreover, Kuronushi lacks a dedicated chapter among the stories. It's as if he is a behind-the-scenes role of the five. Perhaps we can assume that every creator had a different understanding of Kuronushi. So, in the same way, after all, the Irodori Festival is a place for everyone to express.
Yep, that's Albedo for ya. His super logical explanation is sure to win everyone. Well, it seems that our adventures at the Irodori Festival have come to a close. Huh? What are you talking about?
I don't know either. I love that reaction, Paimon.
Oh, right! We still haven't figured out who left those stories of the five Kasen for us to find.
Oh.
Really? Come on then, who is it? Tell Paimon! Well, that makes sense. Otherwise, there'd be no way to give the right paper to the right person every time.
I don't like this is going. I don't like how they made childhood the freaking Sherlock Holmes.
Right! Even though they were using stories to hint us toward Shincho's troubles, the real goal was to lead us to solve the secrets of the Kaidahara clan.
Also, I probably should have done the quest before.
Paimon gets it now. Well, at least Paimon thinks she knows. Let's go! We'll get to...
Oh, you look for that person. Let's just identify by pants. No way it's Big Brother, bro. No way. It's Big Brother, isn't it? Because Big Brother knows it's Big Brother. Because he's the one that called us all up. It's Big Brother. I'm not even sure, dog.
Ayato! You're the... But don't you think you overdid it a little? Leading all your friends on a wild hunt like that?
I knew it.
As it just so happens, one of the...
Paimon wants to see how you explain your...
First of all, the start of this whole incident was due to mere happenstance. You see, Lady Yai happened to catch sight of Shincho and the editor carrying the books away.
Huh? So Paimon knew it. This thing had Miko written all over it.
That's right. But using the story of the five Kasen to guide you to the Kaidahara family. As for my roundabout approach, well, that was... yes. Due to a certain incident that occurred earlier. I knew there was more than meets the eye regarding those papers, but it took me some time to figure out the secret behind what Kaedehara Yoshinori said in the letter is very important. The Kaedehara clan used to be subordinates of the Kamisato clan. Although he has the right to know the truth, the closer he draws to things hidden out of sight, the closer he'll... Of course, I could outright tell him the truth that I had discovered. But maybe he doesn't have the will that's if he lacks the ability, then he wouldn't be able to find the truth. Kaedehara Yoshinori left his... for a long time.
Oh, Paimon gets it now. Yeah, it wasn't only Kazuha. You brought all of the rest...
I merely saw that this matter would be of value to you. And more importantly, I hope that while Kazuha and Ayaka were looking for the reliable friends who would be willing to protect them, because it is also very likely that you already know the answer deep down inside, don't you? The answer is actually hidden in the portrait of Kuronushi. When there is no one else near the portrait, you can confirm with your own eyes. As for the means of revealing that answer...
What? Is this fool gonna pop up? Is he gonna pull up or what? Don't tell me he's gonna pull up. Or is it 3 to 5? Oh, whatever. I think I'm too late. Yeah. I messed up.
It's getting pretty late, so nobody else is around now. So Ayato must have been telling us to
What?
It's the Balladeer! So he was the one behind the trouble all those years ago!
When there is no one else near the portrait, you can... As for the means of revealing that answer, well, also, there's one... I mentioned earlier that the occurrence of a certain incident made me notice... It was just after the Shogun announced the abolition of the Sakoku decree. They had discovered signs that someone had entered the warehouse storing the commission's art. I felt something unusual about that incident. So I told Kujo-Sara of the Tenryou Commission to treat it as if nothing happened. She was not to increase the guard or relocate the warehouse contents. In the meantime, I sent a member of the Shumatsuban to keep watch over the warehouse.
You mean...
I let him search for a while, but in the end, he found...
Why didn't you send some...
The best way to protect the secret is to treat it as if... After he left Inazuma, I carefully checked the Kaedahara clan's belongings one by one. And I am certain... So, now... Which part of Kaedahara Yoshinori's experiences was the secret that needed to be protected?
Why am I answering something in the past?
As for now, ourselves at the...
I don't like that. Crazy. Alright, well. That's pretty much the entire event. Or main quest. I didn't do this stuff, so... I would, but... Okay, never mind. I'm gonna have these by myself. So this is the end of this video. Goodbye.
What's the